Get riding today at onewheel.com.
Hello everyone and welcome to my first Onewheel video. You guys don't know me, so my name's Thomas. I have been an avid Onewheel rider since 2019. I bought the Pint for my 30th birthday, fell in love, but didn't quite get enough from that, so I upgraded to the XR, and I have since put like 1,000 plus miles on my XR, about 500 on my Pint, and I've been waiting for the next iteration. Not because I need a new Onewheel, but because having two Onewheels is definitely better than one, and any of my friends that come over, we get to both ride those and we have the best time. So I'm very excited about getting a second Onewheel to just play with. And I want to cover my thoughts and my impressions and give you a little bit of background of why I think the improvements are good. And maybe this will help you make your own decision of whether or not you should buy a Onewheel and which one you should buy. But I will say right from the gate that the Onewheel, if you're thinking about buying one, you should absolutely go buy it. It is by far and away the best toy I've ever had and the best present I've ever given myself. And that's why when I saw the GT announced earlier today, I was like, nope, buying it. Future me can figure out the if it was worth it or not, but I can tell you, current me thinks it will 100% be worth it. So I want to go over both of the models today and talk about the things that stick out, the design overall, pricing, and just my general impressions. So let's go ahead and jump right in.
Onewheel GT and Pint X are best Onewheels
First,
yet.
I want to talk about the standout improvements. The standout improvements are the battery. The battery goes double range on both the Pint X and the Onewheel GT. The Onewheel GT now goes up to 32 miles in range, which is bananas. I went on an 18-mile ride once on my XR, and that was like 2.5 hours. 5 hours of riding is nuts. So I'm really glad to see that range increase. That will, now we don't need to upgrade to those Qi batteries. Super sweet. Now the Pint X in particular, getting a double upgrade from 6 to 8 to 12 to 18 is a solid change. Anyone buying a Pint or who has a Pint now will probably tell you that the range on that just wasn't enough. In fact, that was the whole reason I upgraded from a Pint to an XR, because as soon as the good got going on my Pint, it was like, oh, 50% battery, gotta head back home. Ugh. Okay, so range on both of those is amazing. I don't even think I'll ever use the 32 miles an hour or 32 miles, but I'm excited about it. Now let's talk about speed. The GT does not have any upgrade in speed. It still maxes out at 20 miles an hour, which anyone who has a Onewheel knows you can kind of push it beyond those 20 miles an hour. Don't recommend it, but you can. But the Pint now goes up to 18 miles an hour. Previously, the Pint was only at 16, so with the Pint X being 18 miles an hour, it gives you just enough cushion, in my opinion, to give you the perfect cruising speed of about 14 miles an hour. When I had my Pint, I always found myself upset that as soon as I hit 14 miles an hour, which felt right, it would give me pushback and I have to slow down. It's like, well, if the top speed on these things is 16, let me go 16. So now that it's 18, I think you'll be able to hit 16 before getting pushback like that, which means really you'll get that awesome cruise speed of about 14, 15 miles an hour. So awesome, really glad for the Pint there, or the Pint X. Now let's talk about the tires. So on the Onewheel GT, it looks like this tire is way more Pint-like. You don't have the hard walls like you do on the Vega tire, which I think will mean for better carvability overall. Just on your typical streets and sidewalks and asphalt, yum, all about it. But the big elephant in the room is that Future Motion now has a treaded tire, which means you should get better gripability on dirt, gravel, grass, and wet surfaces. Now you can get these tires stock on your Onewheel GT, but the treaded tire I think costs $50 to $100 more based on what I was seeing earlier. So if you want to pay more for it, go for it. But if you don't, I just stuck with the normal slick one because, well, I carve in the streets more than anything. Now I want to talk about the foot pads. Foot pads are a huge deal on your Onewheel because that's where your feet are resting the whole time. So grip is important and comfort is important. And they finally decided to give the GT concave footprints on the front and back just to let you feel more locked into the ride. Now they even have other foot pad options where you can buy that are more like the Cushnug High that give you kind of a tail. I have a Cushnug High on my current Onewheel XR and I love it, and I would love to have the Love Hump one, but I'll just wait for third parties to come around and check out what those are before I go ahead and buy. Now, the foot pads on the Pint, as far as I know, no differences. If you saw some news I didn't, please let me know. But after looking at the pages and watching the videos, it looks like the Pint foot pads are exactly the same. And I suppose that's okay because we'll have lots of third-party accessories we can use. But it would have been nice to see that concave foot pad go to the Pint X as well. I want to talk about the power band. Now, I'm not one that totally has a grip or firm grip on what the power band graph means. Like when I look at this graph, I do see that the orange line is like higher and longer, but what does that mean? But on the website, it says that a totally redesigned control system uses higher voltage for more power, torque, and dynamic performance at all speeds. So I've ridden my Onewheel on trails before and up hills before. And if you're not going the right speed to get up, you just won't have enough torque to go up. So extra torque will be nice. And I know having higher voltage output will be good because it'll hopefully prevent those nosedives. Nosedives, for anyone that doesn't know, is when you lean forward to accelerate and the board can't counteract your pressure to accelerate and it just drops the nose, you fall. Happened to me last year. I fractured both my wrists and my elbow. It made for a really horrible summer, but because of that, I learned how to ride Switch and I feel great about it now. Also, that power band doesn't go towards the Pint X. The Pint X apparently just has the same motor, same power band, which I suppose is okay, but if there are improvements, why not share? Come on. Lastly, as far as big improvements go, they say the LED light strip on the Onewheel GT are 300 times brighter than the traditional or the Onewheel XR right now, which is good because anyone who's used the headlights on the Onewheel XR knows they are not very good. They don't get a lot of distance in front of you, and this the inherent nature of Onewheel boards is that your headlights are pointing forward in front of you, but it's on the nose, which you have to push down to accelerate, so you never really get the vision or the visibility I would like to see. And while brighter is better, I'm excited about that, I still think you're going to need some extra sort of light to really be comfortable riding at night. I know I use just a headlamp, that people have for hiking or whatever, but headlamp is awesome. Now, they didn't say the Onewheel Pint X has the brighter lights, so my assumption is that it doesn't. And I guess that kind of stinks. But overall, let's just talk about the design. The design of the Pint X looks identical to the Pint, which is totally fine because the Pint is a really good looking product. But when it comes to the GT took a lot of the design cues from the Pint and decided to just make it its own thing. So you can tell that by how well the fender fits into the actual frame of the device and how the foot pads blend with the rails on the side and the bumpers on the bottom. It just feels way more put together, and I'm all about it, especially with the with the GT getting the mag handle standard now. I really like the mag handle on my Pint, and I think it's an awesome accessory, but I hope that doesn't mean we lose the finger grip on the nose of the GT. They haven't showed that off, and I couldn't see from the photos, but I'm hoping that's still there. So overall, design is really awesome. Improvements seem great. But I want to talk about pricing because pricing is important. Everybody knows that Onewheels are expensive. Every time I tell someone how much my XR or my Pint cost, they were like, "Oh, wow, really? You paid that much?" And I would always fight back by saying, "Yeah." I'm like, and it's the best purchase I've ever made. So, spend your money on what you love. And I love my Onewheels, but that doesn't stop the price from being a barrier of entry for so many people because, the Onewheel GT starts at $2,200 and the Pint X starts at $1,400, which is, without any stimulus money, those are way too expensive for most people. Now, not for me. I ended up buying the GT. I'm all about it. But for people who don't know the joy and love of a Onewheel, I think those prices are still really high. I would have much liked to see these just replace the XR and the Pint at their price points, but that didn't happen. And even more, unfortunately, maybe, is the XR and the Pint are still there. The XR still costs $17.99, really expensive, and the Pint is now $10.50. When did they change the price on that? Do you know? Because I bought mine, I swear, for $9.50, but it's $10.50 now. So whatever. I just think pricing's really high. Wish they were lower. But as a Onewheel person, very excited about getting my Onewheel GT even at $2,200. So to recap, cover it all. I think the GT seems super dope. I'm very excited about getting it and just seeing how it changes my day-to-day riding when I'm out. And I'm also excited to get my GT because I give Onewheel lessons to a lot of friends and family members or people who are just interested. But I plan on doing that for anyone who's interested because I think the Onewheel community is great. And we all need like a cheap barrier of entry to get some experience on a Onewheel. So I do Onewheel lessons for $30 for an hour. That includes usage of my Onewheel. And if you're interested in that, that's what I'm here for. So that is cool. I just have to tell you that. But when it comes to the Pint X, love the Pint X. Glad it has double range. I'm just disappointed it didn't get more of the awesome features from the GT, but that just leaves more improvements for another day. The range is the biggest one, and they got the bigger range, so awesome. Oh, and the top speed. The top speed in the Pint being bigger is insanely phenomenal. So I want to say, tell me your thoughts, impressions on the Onewheel GT and Pint X, and do you have one? What do you have right now? I'd love to know that. Where do you ride? How many miles have you ridden in Onewheel? Things like that, because my goal, and this was a lofty goal, is by the time they have the next Onewheel, is to be doing enough of these Onewheel videos and being a part of this community to get one sent to me for free. And I don't know if that will happen, but I am a cereal influencer and I get cereal sent to me for free because of Cereal Snob. You can check any of my videos out here. But I just want to say thanks for watching. If you're excited, I'm totally excited. I can't wait to get mine in a few months. Oh, and maybe I didn't say this, but the Onewheel Pint is available, or Pint X is available now. So if you want it, go buy it, get it, tell me how it is. I will come back with an in-depth review between the XR and the GT when I get mine, okay? Subscribe, like, comment. Peace.